Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Rip and Sip podcast, the Last Orders Hot Shots edition. I, as always, am Curio Rich, and alongside me, again, as always, is
Raging this down. Hello.
How you been, mate?
Good, mate. You?
Yes, tip top. I haven't taken any drugs or energy drinks to that effect this evening, so I'm going to try and keep myself at a level playing field. Just to kind of like match the mood of the room. And I think that's important. We need to put across concise information this evening because it's a big one.
It is.
So we've got a few talking points, haven't we? That of
We do.
This weekly podcast that's now become a thing. I think we jump straight into the elephant in the room, and I'm not talking about myself. I'm talking about golden auctions.
Mm-hmm.
And the results that we've had. I can't quite believe what I witnessed, but I've got 5 results that I wanted to just sort of go over with you. Yep. The first one was a 1996 Pokémon Japanese base set uncut sheet, and that 64 cards in total sold for $613,801. And that's including the buyer's premium, which to me seems absolutely insane. I think the last sale was about 200k or something like that.
Yep, 20% markup just for selling. So yeah, the auction house always wins. Yeah, madness.
And then we've got the 3 cards that were part of it seems to be a running theme at this auction, the Logan Paul box break. The first edition Blastoise was the one that I noted. Obviously a Gem Mint 10. That one sold for $138,880, including the buyer's premium. So that's obviously smashed records. But then I think the important point, which you made off camera, was the fact that this is equivalent to a 1-of-1, right?
Yes, yeah. All of these slabs that have the Logan Paul breaks are effectively 1-of-1s. Like we can't. They shouldn't be used for modern day comps because they are major outliers. So yeah, it's a very much a unique piece of art.
Tax write-offs.
100%.
The next one, obviously being the Venusaur base set first ed in the same box break with Logan Paul. That was 75,640, so significantly less because Venusaur is always. And then we've got the first ed Zard, which is shadowless, isn't it? It was a shadowless one.
Yeah, all first eds are.
Yeah. So the Logan Paul box break again, which was Gem Mint 10, and that sold for a whopping $954,800, including premium.
The Logan Paul effect. Again, new market high for a first ed Zard, but again, I believe there will be movement in regular 10s. But again, massive outlayer. It's a unique piece. It's a 1-of-1. Say no more.
Well, we've left the best or worst until last, which of course is that damned Illustrator Pikachu. And those was it liquid
marketplace?
They must be spitting chips right now because
yes,
those ex-owners would have been very rich right now. And how ironic that a hedge fund manager actually wins the auction for $16,492,000, including buyer's premium.
Yep, we are entering an age of very much tax write-offs and whatnot. That card is now in the same realm as the 1-of-1 Wu-Tang album that to this day no one outside of Martin Strelecki and a select few have heard. So yeah, we are entering a world of, well, I mean, we are entering a world where the ultra rich now are using Pokemon cards as commodity.
Producer Aaron, can you have a quick look to see what the second most expensive PSA slab went for? I think it was a basketball one, because that was the highest registered. I think it was around about 12 million. And obviously Golden at the time said it's going to surpass that. I think you and I probably looked at it and went, that's not happening. It's not happening.
Yep.
And there was 97 bids in total. It was. Wow. So that's just under, so one of the most expensive ones was just under 5 million. I think another thing that we're looking at here is we've now seen it surpass any PSA graded. I'm pretty sure there was one around about 12 million as well. But that's basketball, that's NFL football, that's baseball. Because you look back at those old cards that dated back to the 1950s, 1960s.
Hornus Wagners.
Yes, and the Hornus-Wagner, I think the one they made a big deal about in the latest Golden episodes, that I think that one was a 1 or 1.5, and I
Yep.
think it just got over 1.5 million. But the most expensive Hornus, I think, was around about 3.5 or something along those lines. Which, when you think about it, that's almost the equivalent of the buyer's premium, because the card sold for 13.3 million. And I don't get it. I don't get the inflation, and I'm concerned because you may have a different opinion to this, but it feels like we've spoken about this before, but old money being in the chat, and it being in the chat, and it's changing the way that the Pokemon will be viewed over the next 12 months. And my fear is that we had a boom last year, and I think that we potentially could be looking at an even bigger boom this year. We've seen the dip, we've seen a dip, where we've been able to get cards at relatively cheap prices. But my worry now is that everything's just going to explode, and then we're on a roller coaster ride to 30th anniversary, and then does the balloon go pop after that?
Possibly. I mean, off the back of this auction, Logan Paul's obviously now doing a rip and ship company as well, platform into whatnot, which we shouldn't be shocked about. But yeah, old money's coming in, hedge funds. I mean, we're seeing a massive uptick in vintage again because it's scarce products, scarcity. Modern, I think, is gonna have. I think the bubble will burst after 30th anniversary for a time. And I'm seeing a lot of complaints both sides of the pond about distribution and stuff, and how allocations are terrible and stuff. And I think we might see a change there, and I think big box retailers will effectively end up getting an even bigger share because a lot of stores are just going straight out at market rather than RRP, which the Pokemon Company obviously don't like. And in turn, it's causing a ripple effect across everything, across One Piece, across all these other emerging TCG products where the flippers are just riding the wave across them. So yeah, I genuinely think the bubble will burst for a few months. Wind and Waves, if those names are correct from the leaks. Gen 10 announcement end of year after the 30th or at the 30th anniversary. That's when we'll hopefully see a dip, but not for too long, I don't think.
Do you think it'll be? Sorry, I was just going to say, do you think that the announcement of the new game has that traditionally had any effect on the TCG?
Yeah, the first set's always crap. You ask any players, any collectors, the first set of every TCG product is notoriously the weakest. However, that may change depending on if megas carry into the game or whatever the unique typecasting is of the product. Obviously, we've had Dynamax, we've had VMAX, we've had megas, Terrastalize. So whatever the new flavor is in the game will affect the TCG, and ultimately players will decide if that set's any good. But yeah, they're notoriously the weakest link.
Okay. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens next. From a retailer perspective, Dan, have you noticed that shortfall in stock across the board?
Yeah, Ascended Heroes ETBs come out Friday. This is being recorded on the 17th, so they're out on the 20th. Yeah. My stock's already been cut again, and the ETBs are being put into waves now, so I'm getting a wave 1 this week and then a wave 2 whenever. So
really?
Yeah. And off the back of that, I'd also like to put it out there that everyone's obviously going hype around this Destined Rivals reprint. It's a restock. It's not a reprint. The Wave 1 stock, I'm getting a single case, and Wave 2, I'm getting 3 booster boxes. That's not a reprint. That's a disappointment.
Yeah, because that's not going to touch the sides at all.
No.
Okay, well, that's something fun to look forward to. As always, bringing the positivity to the podcast. Thank you, Dan. But
always
realist approach, which is what we appreciate. So the next point, which I think we should probably touch on, is and I know we spoke about this last week, is again, so we're talking about robberies again, thefts.
Yeah.
And this time it's quite a famous influencer this time who does a lot of streaming and works from home in Pokédean, and it looks to have been quite a targeted attack, and he looks like he's been
Yes.
completely cleared out.
Yeah, it's not good. Obviously, Dean posted up this weekend that someone managed to gain access to his accommodation and basically stole most of his collection that he's been building for years. Everyone has a take on it. YouTube comments are just notoriously toxic. I just want to say, obviously, I feel for the guy. It's one thing for a store to get robbed. It's a whole nother level when it's your private dwellings being robbed. Like that can send you on a spiral where you just want to get out of there and find somewhere new. So I do feel for the man completely. There's not much to say outside of I'm truly gutted for him. We spoke about how I said actually on the last podcast that the safest place to do this sort of stuff was at home because people don't know where you live. There's a couple of facts that have come out post, and it's information that is available on the internet. Unfortunately, on Company's House, his information is there, so his business address is unfortunately where he resides. So if you are launching a TCG business, make sure it's at your accountant's residency, not your home. And that goes to anyone now, realistically. Robberies were starting up north. We've seen, unfortunately, too many. And, the second it's now in someone's home, we're now seeing people both sides of the pond react to this. Christy Holds, Snorlax Tax, formerly known as Snorlax Tax, has obviously removed all of her stuff on her Instagram.
Yeah, I saw that.
Pokey in America obviously done a video, and he's now moving from his basement where he worked from and he's now leasing somewhere. Everyone is reacting to this, and Pokey said it the most where he's basically saying it could happen to you. You need to do what you can to protect your collection. There is no major way to protect your collection other than to just say you don't have one. Just the people that ultimately did rob Dean, the speculation is that they're people known to him. I saw a lot of comments about how it didn't look like it was broken into, like the door didn't look like it was kicked in. So again, purely speculation. It may have been an inside job in terms of someone inside of his friend group who knew where certain stuff was. He did highlight that they didn't take certain things. And after being the victim of thefts from a store, I'd like to point out that when a robbery happens, they're looking for the quickest things to take. So they won't target UPCs. They won't target massive items. They want to be able to take as many small items as possible that they feel will get them the most return on the from wherever they're fencing the items. So yeah, it's shit. But yeah,
One thing
not fun.
perhaps then to actually pass on to the listeners is to heed that the warning signs, and that if you do have anything, you are a content creator, you do anything that is substantial, it's great to obviously be proud of what you've got, but also be very, very careful.
Yeah. You remember, if you can Google yourself, then you're already giving out too much information. Put your shit on lockdown, put your Facebook group to private, don't share certain stuff. But yeah, ultimately, if you're an influencer or a content creator, now is the time to start investing in high quality safes, secure storage, whatnot. Just take his words of advice and don't be next.
Strap up, peeps. Right.
Oh yes.
Into more exciting and positive news, which I knew Dan was tapping around like a little puppy waiting to get this out. Ace grading are expanding into Europe.
Yes. Yep.
So my line here that I've put is, what does this mean for everyone else, if anything? And I'll so I had a exchange with a couple of people on Instagram under my Curio Rich handle, just sort of saying, until Ace bring in 55-45, they will not be at the table. And there are a few people that came back to me and said, well, PSA used to be 60-40 and they were this and they were that and the other. And yeah, absolutely, bang on. They also used to grade coins. But the thing is that, as I've found out recently, is that it's down to buyer sentiment. And it's, who do you believe in? Where's the retaining value? And the fact that PSA have just been a part of, because they are, a $16 million sale, that puts them into, in my opinion, a stratosphere of grading companies. I know that they don't come without their controversies, but who doesn't? So it's one of those things. It's picking the best of the bad bunch, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, to answer your first question, where does that put Ace? It puts them in front of a new audience, and the joke would be is that it's a whole new audience that can see just how bad their grading process is. But this has clearly been in the works for a while. Fair play. You don't just launch in Europe out of nowhere. This has clearly been like potentially 6 months to a year's worth of graft. There's clearly a demand for it. It'll be interesting to see how European vendors take the Ace slabs and how well they do in terms of selling, because again, collectors are a different breed. So collectors want the nice labels. There's always a demand for that. But in terms of selling and flipping, we know that is a different story. All I can say is good luck. He's going to host a private event over there in Amsterdam.
Yeah,
Amsterdam, where their headquarters is going to be. So, smoking a pancake and a slab in the goodie bag.
Is that a euphemism, Dan?
Smoking a pancake. But yeah, I can't say anything other than this will make or break them. This is definitely a reactionary video as well to PSA obviously opening up in Germany. Yes. So this will now be a battle on that front, because Randy is consistently getting his followers and the Ace bandwagoners to tell the Gem Mint guys to add them to the list, because there's a list of how many cards are graded in America via the big boys. And every time it's posted, it's why isn't Ace on there? Why isn't Ace on there? And that's because it's an American bloody company doing it. If they did a UK one, Ace would be up there, because who the fuck cares how many cards Tree Fog have graded or get graded? Like, it's not going to make a dent. Ace would be at the top of that list. But in respect of the big four in America, they probably would beat Tag right now, but that's because Tag is still expanding and Ace have expanded already post break-in. So yeah, I look forward to seeing what comes from it. So I think it'll be an interesting one.
I think it's a good move for them, because at the end of the day they are grading a lot more, and you can see that they've kept their. One of the things that I've noticed is the fact that there hasn't been as much controversy. So
yeah.
That's been widely publicized. It's, in actual fact, it's been relatively quiet since they made the announcement of changing how they deliver and their return items, and then also they made the announcement in regards to keeping their slots open. It kind of that's one thing I hated, by the way, was the fact that it was like Pokemon Center drops for grading slots, and that felt wrong. That didn't feel right at all. So the fact that they're open now most of the time makes me feel a little bit better, and hopefully they fix their machine that puts the impact dent up on the top left of the card.
Yeah, or the fact that the cards get pinned under the plastic if you crack them.
Oh, that is ridiculous, because that's
a joke.
I don't know whether that is some form of on purpose thing to do, or whether it's the way it's fused. I don't know, but it's
who knows?
It's happened a few times now. But
yes,
it's going to be one.
Oh, sorry, carry on.
No, I was waffling. Carry on.
Okay, well, obviously off the back of that, you mentioned about the slots. The interesting part will be if this is Ace actually going to grade out of Amsterdam, or if it's a forwarding hub for the UK.
Interesting.
Because if it's a forwarding hub, then we may see a return to slots are closed. Or will they do a European will they have a European section in their grading facilities that just handle that versus the UK side?
They've got
Either
to.
way, we may go back to that pattern of open and close.
Felt like they were at breaking point when they were just trying to service the UK. I believe that they have got to turn, if they're going to have a headquarters over there, they've got to have a grading centre over there as well. Have to.
Yeah.
Otherwise, that's one step forward, two steps back, in my opinion. Staying on the line of grading, I think let's have some fun with this. I thought that you and I, Dan, can set up a new company alongside producer Aaron, and because I found that there are no standards when it comes to grading companies. Well, there are standards, but they've got their own standards, and
Yes.
this is one thing I've harped on about. So I think we're going to start a company called Grading Standards.
Oh no.
And I put it to ChatGPT. A simple question. Can you provide me with a concise breakdown as to why there are no industry standards for TCG sports grading companies across the world? Question mark. Also, how could you go about becoming a grading standards agency for all grading companies? So buckle up, guys. Let's get stuck in. So
Oh, no.
reasons why there are no industry standards, proprietary grading systems. Major grading companies each use proprietary grading scales, definitions, and internal training. Their brand identity and value proposition depend on differentiation, not conformity. Each company's grading standards are treated as intellectual property, not shared protocols. There is also, I'm not going to go into each one. You can put your own ChatGPT prompt in. Lack of central regulatory body because the collectible space have no governing authority enforcing global standards, and the market is driven by reputation and customer trust, not regulation. Then you've got the subjectivity of grading, which of course involves human judgment, and it can also involve intra-grading variation. So hence the reason that you get the head grader at PSA may be completely different to the guy that's just walked through the door. Subjectivity prevents a standardization without universally accepted inspection tools and definitions. Then we've got market incentives against standardization. Companies benefit from maintaining distinct market positions, e.g., PSA 10 versus BGS 9. So we've also got international fragmentation. Collectible markets differ regionally across the US, Japan, and Europe. We've then got how to create a global grading standards agency. Here we go, boys. Form an independent consortium. So this is what we've got to do. Make sure you've got your pens ready at producer Aaron and Dan.
I do.
Establish non-profit standards body. There we go. That's out the window for us. Non-profit.
Yeah,
International. We're already in debt through this.
Yeah, pointless. Just stop there. Just stop there.
So once we've formed the non-profit standards body, e.g., International Card Grading Standards Association, we then have to recruit participation from grading firms. Oh, fuck.
Yeah, that ain't happening.
That's the end of that, isn't it?
That's point one was a no for us, and point two is a no for them. So let's just stop there.
Oh, there's a few more.
Oh God!
Develop a transparent grading framework.
Mate.
Certification and compliance model. So allow grading. Here we go. Allow grading companies to apply for accreditation, similar to ISO and ASTM models. Accredited firms demonstrate they meet measurement of and consistency benchmarks.
Oh, there's no benchmarks. Like, yeah, I mean, it will never happen.
I feel like this pitch is going really well. Hold on. Adopt technology-driven verification, market adoption strategy, long-term evolution. And then we go, would you like me to create a business strategy? No, thank you.
Yeah, that business strategy is just draining another pond in rural Canada. Like, honest to God, yeah, no, I mean, every point there is why you will never have a graded standard. Yeah, everyone wants to do what they want. At the end of the day, it's all a cash grab. The whole grading thing is built on a bunch of random people just deciding what's worth what. It's no different to art appraisal. It's very much this is worth this. I'm telling you, it's worth that. In my company, it's worth this. In that company, it's worth that. In this company, reality is regardless, they're all raw cards. They're all, every card is worth out of a pack 40p. 10 cards a pack, £4 a pack. They're each worth 40p by default. Yeah.
But you know
it's a
what?
good idea, but it's a terrible idea.
Thank you. It makes me ponder. The reason why I looked at that is when you look back at what's just happened, $16.4 something million for a card in a piece of plastic.
Mm-hmm.
That if PSA did something monumentally wrong, could effectively devalue that card completely.
Let's be honest, it is devalued. They changed the slab. The value dropped there and then. Like the questions are: is it the same card? It's a whole rabbit hole. Like all we know for certain, a hedge funder's kid that was coked out of his mind paid 16 million for arguably one of the world's shittest cards, and the next person that buys it will be probably his dealer for 30 million. And then his dealer's dealer for 60 million, and it'll just keep going up and up and up. There are better versions of that card out there. Yeah, it's a joke. Grading is shit.
It did make me ponder it, and although we sort of say this in jest, I think it's very important that if you as a collector are buying cards, graded cards or cards to grade, just be mindful that the reason why you're doing it, and if it's long hold stuff, then as Dan always says, buy the card, not the grade.
Yeah, and don't go into debt.
Yes. Don't plunge yourself into debt as a direct result of it either. As fun as it is, and as much as the ADHD takes hold of us,
Yes.
just bear that in mind. So, I think to finish tonight, I want to touch on some new sets and actually the shaping of the rest of the year. So, just going to throw this at you. So we've obviously got, from English sets, we've got Ascended Heroes right now rolling out. I've given my opinion on that shit show so far.
Yep.
We've then got Perfect Order.
Yes.
Which is 27th of March.
Believe so.
Yes. Then we've got Ninja Spinner, Japanese version, which is Chaos Rising.
Yes.
Right. So that one's got Mega Greninja.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how much... When you look at the rest of the sets that are coming out, there's probably one on the horizon which I'm really looking forward to. That occupies March, and then is it March that it's released in English? No, it'll
March is Perfect Order. May is Chaos Rising.
So it's like one after the other almost. Then in May, in the Japanese, we've got Abyss Eye, which is the Mega Darkrai. I didn't choose the name, but that's coming out on May the 22nd.
Which means that'll be our July set.
So then in July for Japan, we've got Storm Emeralda, which I am particularly excited about.
Everyone should be.
Mega Rayquaza. July the 31st, that one comes out. Which means that'll be, was it our August set, do you reckon?
September. It'll be, okay. I reckon, mid-September on that one.
All right.
Because it's too close to the 30th anniversary. So
and then, funnily enough, it then does say, all this information, by the way, was from PokeBeach. Shout out to PokeBeach, consistently providing most Pokemon information. I think they're absolutely brilliant. So then we've got 30th celebration set. And you did a little bit of research on this before we jumped onto the pod. And that, traditionally, we've seen English set, then Japanese set, or it could be released at the same time. October release, do you reckon?
Oh, yeah, 100% October. If we go based off the 25th release, it was October 8th for English and October 22nd for Japanese. So we had it before the Japanese did, which is interesting.
Very. I would imagine, or I would hope, it's towards the end of the month, because then that way Emily can get me plenty for my birthday.
Mm-hmm.
It's not too much to ask. Hopefully that will tune in. Obviously 42 is a big number. So
yeah. The interesting point on that one will be, we normally have a set in November. So are we going to see a set August or September, October, November? 3 back-to-back sets, very clustered, because we've still got, which I believe will be the high-class set in January, the Ruby Sapphire deck set, which every dumbass influencer was like, it's the next set, it's coming out in July. Where are you now, you dickheads? Deleted all your posts because the actual information come out and it's Abyss Eye, you clowns. Like, honestly, it's going to be it will be the premium set a la Priz, a la Ascended next year, and then we move into potentially Wind and Waves Gen 10. So yeah, but a very clustered end of year.
Are you looking forward to Wind and Waves?
Not really, if I'm honest, unless they do something new. I barely played Scarlet and Violet, if I'm honest. I played both Legends games way more than I played the baseline games, just because it felt pretty shit, in all fairness. But if Wind and Waves does something new, then I'll give it a blast.
It's island based, I think, isn't it? It's different islands.
Greek islands, I believe.
Yeah,
it's
lots
the
of
rumors are saying.
Yeah, lots of flying, lots of water type, I believe.
Yep. Yes.
Exciting stuff. Well, we got a whole year of this now. There's absolute chaos ahead of us. Can't wait for the next Costco drop. I will be at the back of that queue because I'll probably still be in bed. But looking forward to keeping you guys up to date throughout. And next podcast, we're going to put several grams of cocaine into Dan before the podcast to get the very best out of him. It's good. I think there's a reason why we've not had any sponsors just yet.
For the drug and drink references, like
we are available for sponsors if anyone wants to sponsor us, but we probably need some.
We don't want any sponsors. I do not want to be. I don't want to be. What's the word?
Pegged back.
Pegged. I definitely don't want to be pegged. I don't want to be muzzled. So again, every opinion is my own, and as my profile states, opinions are like arseholes. Everyone's got one.
Some are full of shit.
Some don't wipe. And I say we end it there. So, always a pleasure, Rich.
Yes, indeed. I have been Curio Rich of the Curio Collectors Club, and you can find me on TikTok, Instagram, and I think I'm on Facebook as well.
Yeah, and I'm Raging This. I'm Showpoke Collectibles on Instagram, Facebook, and whatever street corner you dwell on. So, yeah, take care, people.
Love you. Bye. Good night.